Hello, and thank you for joining us today for the launch of the 2022 EPOS Specialized Curricular Guide for Military and Veteran Social Work. My name is Megan Fujita. I'm our Vice President of Education at the Council on Social Work Education. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Stephanie Felder, Captain in the United States Public Health Service, also affiliated with the Catholic University of America. Dr. Felder was the project lead on this specialized curricular guide for military and veteran social work. The CSWE Educational Policy and Accreditation Standards, also referred to as our EPOS, curricular guide series, serve as supplemental guides for programs and educators on relevant topics in social work. Each resource is produced by a task force of national content experts, in this case, individuals with experience in practice or research in military and veteran social work. Users can select from and access the suggested resources for each of the 9 social work competencies aligned with the 2022 EPOS. The guide also provides resources, including full descriptions of in-class exercises, readings, media, and assignments linked to the 9 specialized competencies for military and veteran social work. The guide is available on the CSWE website, and today I'd like to use this a little bit of our time to learn more from Dr. Felder about the current state of military and veteran social work practice and the impact and use of this curricular guide. This is the next version or updated version of the Military Social Work Curricular Guide. And so, Dr. Felder, I'm wondering, can you tell us a little about the changes in military social work practice since the guide was last released under the 2015 EPOS? And I'm just curious about how you and your team approached the work on this guide.
Absolutely, Megan. But before I jump into answering your questions, I just wanted to say that it is a deep honor to be part of the release of the third edition of the Specialized Practice Curricular Guide for Military and Veteran Social Work, especially as we approach Veterans Day, a day dedicated to honoring the service and sacrifices of our military community. Being part of this revision has been so meaningful to me, aligning closely with my journey and passion for supporting those who serve. As you know, Megan, my work in this field began years ago as the Healthcare for Homeless Veteran Coordinator in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the VA, where I witnessed firsthand the unique challenges facing our veterans. And as the spouse of an Army veteran who served during Operation Enduring Freedom, along with my time at the VA, I was truly inspired, which led me to pursue studies at Catholic University, focusing on homelessness among female veterans, a topic that remains close to my heart. So in 2012, I had the privilege of donning my own uniform, joining a long tradition of those who serve this country. So, this journey has been transformative, and I am extremely proud to contribute to this guide. I believe it will pave the way for more compassionate, informed, and effective support for our service members and their families. And I have to underscore their families because without the families, we would not be able to wear these uniforms and serve as we do. My deepest thanks goes to the Council on Social Work Education and everyone involved in bringing this important work to fruition. Together, we are making a meaningful difference, and I am grateful to be a part of it. So, to answer your question now, the field of military social work has evolved significantly since the last guide. I think we all can agree on that. And this updated version broadens its scope to meet the complex and varied needs of military and veteran populations today. While previous guides had a more combat centered approach, this edition reflects a comprehensive view of military experiences, recognizing the needs of service members beyond combat roles, including those involved in disaster relief and humanitarian missions. One of the most significant additions is a dedicated competency on prevention, which I'm really excited about. This new competency highlights the importance of proactive mental health and wellness support, empowering social workers to address challenges before they escalate. This proactive approach is essential for fostering resilience and supporting the long-term well-being of service members, veterans, and their families. This guide also introduced a standalone competency in anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, which is a reflection of the social work profession's commitment to these values. It is designed to prepare social workers to navigate and challenge systemic inequities within military settings, ensuring that they are well equipped to advocate for diverse and marginalized groups within military communities. In addition, the guide adopts an intersectional lens, addressing the diverse identities within the military population, including gender and racial diversity, LGBTQ plus issues, and experiences such as military sexual trauma. This approach ensures that social workers can offer culturally responsive and individualized support that honors the varied experiences of those they serve. Overall, this guide represents a robust and current approach to military social work, advancing both clinical and systemic practices by emphasizing prevention, inclusivity, and evidence based interventions. It equips practitioners to enhance resiliency and well being across military communities in a powerful but also meaningful way.
Thank you, Dr. Felder. One of the things that you had briefly mentioned just now in your opening, you talked a little bit about a competency explicitly related to anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or ADEI. And so DEI is not new to social work education or the EPOS. However, in the 2022 EPOS, there is explicitly a competency related to anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion as a standalone competency. And so I'm wondering if you don't mind just talking a little bit more about how this was incorporated into this curriculum guide, and how you see that playing out in military and veteran social work, specifically in terms of whether it's class assignments or the competency itself. Just what are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. So DEI is essential for all social work, but definitely for military and veteran social work, where cultural humility and responsiveness has to be at the forefront. This new competency emphasizes the need for social workers to actively engage in anti-racism efforts, and it calls it out. And it focuses on their ability to advance equity and inclusion within the military settings and our veteran settings as well. So this includes addressing systemic barriers and biases that affect service members' access to care, but also advocating for structural changes to support marginalized groups such as racial and ethnic minorities, women, LGBTQ plus, as I said earlier, just assuring that we are out there and truly advocating for these groups. So by embedding DEI into the competency framework, we are ensuring that social workers are prepared to uphold social justice principles that we have at our core and foster an environment of inclusivity and respect in every interaction that they have with our service members and veterans and their families, and also embedding that in our interventions as well.
Okay, thank you. And one of the things that I had mentioned previously is that this guide is an update to a previous version from a previous EPOS, the 2015 EPOS.
Mhm.
And so what's different about this guide, however, is that it really speaks to social work practice with military and veteran populations.
Yes.
And so can you tell us a little bit about how this type of practice differs and why the inclusion of veterans was so important in the development of this guide?
Yeah, we were really excited to really hone in on that veteran component and the families as well. So military and veteran social work is unique due to the specific cultural, ethical, and operational context that it includes. So, practitioners in this field must understand military structure and culture, the regulations, and the unique stressors faced by our service members, such as deployment cycles and this warrior ethos and this idea that you're super strong and you can go through anything, right? So this guide incorporates these nuances, allowing social workers to provide tailored support that respects the military culture while also addressing the broader psychosocial needs, such as reintegration challenges, as we start to think about our veterans, right? Family dynamics, once again, for our service members and our veterans, and the mental health impacts of military life. Including military and veteran social work in this guide underscores its importance as a specialized field that demands both cultural competence and comprehensive, inclusive approach to care, supporting a population that sacrifices for our nation, and that's what they chose to do, to sacrifice for our nation. So it was vital that we opened the gates and ensured that we were hitting, military, veteran, and their families.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, the guide does include a lot of information on families of military and members and veterans as well. So thank you to you and the contributors for including that piece as well. Uh,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. I think it's just so important across the life cycle of the service member, and then they eventually become a veteran. And so to make sure that we are addressing that continuum, I think was really important to everyone who was a part of this writing, and we wanted to really highlight that.
yeah. So I have one more question for you, Dr. Felder. If there's one takeaway related to this specialized curricular guide for military and veteran social work practice, so one takeaway that you'd like to share with social work educators or maybe students interested in pursuing this type of social work practice, what would it be?
The most critical takeaway, I would say, is the guide's emphasis on empathy, resilience, and a commitment to inclusive and preventative practice. Adding that competency 10 with the focus on prevention, I think, that was a hallmark kind of add to the curricular. And so this guide provides educators, professionals, and students with a comprehensive foundation, which highlights the importance of proactive mental health and wellness support, social work with military and veteran populations um, requires a really nuanced understanding of their unique experiences, their different pathways and transitions within their lives. And it also requires an unwavering dedication to advocacy and ethical practice when you're working with veterans and service members and their families. So educators and students should embrace the guide's call for cultural humility and readiness to meet the evolving needs of this community by providing trauma-informed care and ensuring equity in accessing services. This guide is more than a curriculum. It is a resource for social workers to make a lasting, meaningful impact on the lives of those who have served.
Thank you, Dr. Felder. I think what you're saying is so important. I think this guide um, really, if I were a social work student, again, I think this is something that I could pick up and look at for resources, but if I'm an educator planning a course or a curriculum or anything like that. It's something that I can use to really plan it from start to finish. So I would just want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you as well
Thank
as
you.
all of the contributors of the 2022 EPOS Specialized Curricular Guide for Military and Veteran Social Work. I have a copy here that I just want to show you. It's lovely, and I think it's going to just be so impactful in social work education and practice. And so the guide will be available on the CSWE website. And we'd also like to thank the generous support of the Cohen Veteran Network for making this guide possible. So thank you again, Dr. Felder. Thank you to
Thank
anyone
you.
watching this, and we hope that you all check out this guide. Again, it's on the CSWE website, and feel free to reach out to CSWE if you have any questions about this. Thank you.